short party in town. Making love or just riding around to soothe your mind. Yeah.
Okay, everyone, we're here today on October of 2023, and we're on another part of the Utah Rider history, and we have Reyes Cordova. He actually grew up in Utah and has been around since the early 80s lowriding, and today we're gonna walk around with Reyes and enjoy just the work of art that he's created, a lot of the cars that he has built, some of the competition cars that he has, and just sit back. And I think a lot of people have been waiting for this interview with Reyes. Reyes is well known as a car builder out here in Utah, also is from a well-respected car club, Good Times. We're just honored and it's a pleasure to even get that opportunity to meet with him today. All right, everyone, here's Reyes Cordova. Thank you, Reyes, for letting us have this opportunity with you, bro. Just wanted to come down and just show everybody and give everybody a little bit of history in Utah. I know that you've been familiar with what we're doing, going around talking to individuals that pretty much started lowriding out here in the early 80s. We all know that lowriding started in the 70s out here in Salt Lake City. And today, just want to have you walk us around and introduce us to the cars that you build. I also see the Vikla in the back. Like to learn a little bit about that. So can you tell us a little bit about your 64? I know that this car belongs to you and your wife owns a 63, right?
Yes.
What did it take to build the 64, and show us some of the modifications, show us some of the details that you actually put into the car?
Actually, this car's been a headache from day one, but it's it's my headache. I've actually built it from the ground up, and we went black, which was something I really never went with, but it looks good to me. I mean, I've tried to compete with the big boys. I'll get there one day. If I lose, I lose. It don't matter. I have fun building the car. But like I said, I did do this. I did go a little crazy with the engraving, but it's just another style I can do. You know what I mean? So, and like I said, if you guys want to see like underneath the hood and stuff, I mean, I've did some stuff, a lot of stuff Crazy Cutting helped me with. From day one, I reached out to them. They've always been good with me. I did honestly have when I built it, was going to just make a hopper out of it. And then I started getting carried away with it, ended up taking the power setup out of it and put a regular setup in it. And really, that's where it's at right now. I mean, I'm going to keep pushing on it.
So what was the interest of a 64 convertible? How did you come to that? Like saying, I'm going to build my 64 Impala? I've been thinking about it. I mean, what made you build a 64 Impala ragtop?
What was weird is I had one back in the day, and got in a little trouble. I had to get rid of it, and I promised it to Chris, my wife. And when I ended up getting back into lowriding again, I mean, I stayed away from it for a while. I got a hold of this from Hess. He sent me a project, and I was like, yeah, I'll take it. And I got her a 63. She didn't want a 63. She said, you owe me a 64. So we ended up I started building it for her. She fell in love with it. She wouldn't. When I bought this one, she wouldn't trade me. And I thought this car was a scam. My son called me up, said, hey, Dad, you still looking for a 64 rag? I go, yeah. He goes, there's one on KSL for like $9,000. I go, a complete car? I go, it's a scam. I called it, and it wasn't. The guy called me back. I ended up going and buying it, and we started from there. And it's been fun building them both. I mean, I've had her with me, turning wrenches, 100%. My boys will come and help me. My club did come and help me. They do come and help me, We put cars back on the frames and stuff like that. So I've had help. I've had help here and there. I can't say I did it alone.
How long do you think it took for the 64 to get built to where it is right now, from start to finish?
To be honest with you, we started this one first. This one got done first.
Okay. Yeah,
We started building that one first,
That's not
but
fair.
this one got done first. And it honestly took me 5 years to put that car together like it is.
Yeah.
It honestly took us like 2.5 years.
So what was behind building 63 and 64? One for your wife, being a 63, and I mean, did you collaborate together and say, I want a 63 for my wife, or it was just?
No, it just happened. You know, I ended up getting this car for her, and we started working on it. And then this one just, like I said, it just fell in my hand. So I went and got it, and I said, you know what? Let's put it together. Let's build it. So we started building them at the same. I honestly started building this on the side. On the side, so she didn't know. I actually had it at the shop. We were building this one here.
Well, we didn't come here to get in trouble. We're not trying to put you on blast, but can you show us the motor on this one?
Yeah, this one, we've done a lot to this one too.
Well, both of them look clean, bro, and you've always been known to build really nice cars, and I know that you have a lot of following in Utah, so
I try,
definitely
and
the cars show.
I do try to do my best, and I do. One other thing is I help people out. If they call me up and everything and I can help them, I do help them out. Because I know what it's been like growing up, trying to build something, and you don't have nobody out there. You have to reach out to people, and some people don't get what's in your mind, so they're not going to be able to help you, and it's just hard.
Quick question for you. On the V-Class, what got you into V-Class from being around cars and then all of a sudden?
I've always had bikes growing up. I mean, between you know, like the motocross bikes and mini bikes growing up, I've always been on a bike, and I've always had Harleys. But my lady would always make me sell them. She's like, "You're getting rid of it. You're getting rid of it."
Right.
And finally, one day, one of my homies out there in Arizona hit me up on my little T-bucket. He goes, "I'll trade you," and I was like, "All right, I'll trade you." And then, but I ended up trading him, and I started doing work on that bike. I brought it home one day, and she's like, "Oh, you're getting rid of that bike." I go, "Not this one."
Yeah.
And it's fun. Like if I kind of stressed out, I can get on it and take it for a ride and clear my mind. But to be honest with you, it's not the first thing I go to. I love motorcycles, but like all my friends say, it just sits there.
That purple reminds me of your Riviera back in the day. So is purple your favorite color?
Yeah, it is. Purple's
All right.
my favorite
So
color.
purple, you and purple have an attachment. Also, Chris Reyes has done a lot of several bikes, and I feel like, you know, he's been, since I've known him, he's been one of the best lowrider bike builders in the state of Utah. So, I mean, that's another.
That's where I
passion of
started.
yours, right?
That's where I started. I don't remember what happened years ago. We were messing with the bikes, and then we were starting to cut the forks and break them down. The first time I seen a set of spring forks was on an old Swin that our neighbor had, and it was just thrown in the corner, and I kept making deals with them. I think I traded a bunch of Hot Wheels for it. and I ended up, my dad showed me how to bend the forks without putting a crease in it, and we got them bikes we used to ride them up to Liberty Park, a bunch of us.
How did you do that without bending them?
It was weird because my dad showed me, like, he put a pipe, and then he put it like in a press, and we just pushed them down, and it bent like a pipe bender, you know, but it wasn't. It was just a homemade tool that we made, and he got them right. I had that J hook on it, and the bike looked actually pretty crazy. And then we would take the twisted bars that go down. Like, they didn't sell them back then. We would go take them off people's porches.
Oh. Yeah, all the little viejitos around the neighborhood be missing rails off.
A couple.
There. Yeah, that's real nice of you, Reyes.
My bad. We did what we did.
Well, we're going to have a sit down with Reyes, and we're going to get more into where it all started for him. I think this is actually going to be one of the best topics and one of the best interviews we're going to be doing in the state of Utah, because Reyes has been around for a long time, and I'm excited right now to sit down with him and just dig a little bit deeper, and that way I know a lot of people that are from Utah, a lot of people that are all over the world. You know, Utah is one of them cities and one of them states is not ever mentioned in lowriding, not known for lowriding, but as the years went by, a lot of people have realized that there's a lot of lowriding in Utah. So anyway, thank you guys. All right, I'm sitting here with Reyes, and after looking at his cards and seeing some of the nice stuff, now we're gonna get into where did lowriding get started for you, Reyes, in Utah?
Lowrider bikes.
So-
I lived on Jefferson Street, about right off of West Temple and 8 South, and we just started little lowrider bike club, and there was a few of us. We'd ride from anywhere from 9th West all the way up to Liberty Park, up and down 9th West, because back then that's where basically all the lowriders used to go to cruise. So we had lowrider bikes, and then one day, I think it was Richard Abeta I seen going down the road, and he had that yellow 52 bomb. This thing was gorgeous, and right there I was hooked. I was like, oh man, I need to get me a car. And I was young. Came home one day, told my dad, I said, hey Dad, what do you got? Because he had a shop, and I told him, hey, what do you got? I could make some money at the shop. I want to buy a car. He's like, you got 2 years to drive before you can even get a car. I was like, he ended up helping me out. We got a 73 Impala when I was 15, but it took a while to get that car going. You know what I mean? I was, like I said, I was still, even when I had the car in the backyard, I still had frames like crazy, lowrider bikes. I mean, that was my passion. And then little by little, you remember Gary Madrid?
Yeah.
So he had this body shop over there on State Street, AJ's, I think it was called. And I'd come from school and I'd pass it, and one day I asked him, I said, hey, why don't you guys charge me to paint my car? And he gave me a price. Back then, to me it was a lot of money, but it was like nowadays you'd be like, oh, that's it. But I told him, I said, well, I don't got quite that much. He was like, well, come and work for me. So I went down there, and after school, and I'd DA cars down and stuff like that, and we ended up getting that car over there, and he painted it pearl white for me. It was already white, but it was kind of messed up paint job. I mean, it was an older paint job.
The one that Steve Stamford had.
Yeah.
But
He did that girl. It was called Rosie. The car was called Rosie.
Back in the day.
Yeah, and she was sitting in some things, but the mural got messed up. So actually, we painted it. We hired Steve Stamford to come back from I think he lived in San Francisco. To come back, and he's the one that did that Aztec warrior on the back end of it that I used to have.
Yeah.
He's the one that
Can
came
you
back
have
out.
him do that then?
Yeah, he came back out and he striped my car and did that mural on it for me. And then after that, I stayed with that car for a while. I just lowered it. Trust me, I went through so many gas tanks.
What I wanted to ask you is, I'm going to take you back a little bit, so before you even knew, because obviously you didn't know, none of us knew nothing about lowriding when we grew up.
Nothing.
What gave you basically what I'm trying to ask is, so where did that vision start? Who, did you see it in magazines? Did you see it on the streets? Is there a certain individual you seen build a lowrider bike? I mean, where did that come from in your mind?
I don't remember who had a lowrider bike before me, but that's where it started. I seen a lowrider bike, and it was in Utah. I didn't see it from the magazines. I used to get the lowrider magazine. We used to go to, what was it called? Was it magazine? Bob's Magazines, yeah. We used to go there and get the Orleans magazine, the Lowrider magazine, and I would see them in there, but they didn't catch my attention until one day I seen one. Oh, and it caught my attention. I was like, oh, hell yeah. Couldn't figure out how to ride it.
So going back, you're saying that Richard Abeta was the first person you seen in a lowrider, or is it?
I know I seen lowriders, but like to that point to where it was like a show car. Like,
what year was that, you think,
Oh,
when you
man.
first saw like somebody lowriding in Utah?
too many years ago.
Was it in the early
Like
80s?
I said, I was in a teen. When I first seen lowrider, I was probably about 13, 12 or 13, because that's when I had started seeing my lowrider bikes that I was building. and that I've seen lowrider bike. I mean, even your car, you had what, a 64 or 63?
64.
Yeah.
On Supremes.
Yeah, but the cars that I would see back then that were all primered or stuff like that, when I seen that one canary yellow one of Richard Abeta, I mean, it was done. It was like top show to me, you know what I mean? So
Yeah.
it's just like, one day I want to be there. I want to have a car like clean like that. And as time went by, I didn't know nothing about hydraulics. I mean, it took Richard Abeta to teach me that. I mean, that guy taught me a lot. Another thing, Jeff Martinez, he taught me a lot on that too. You know, he showed me things that I couldn't figure out how to get when they were broken. I couldn't get a hold of Richard. Jeff knew about that stuff too. So I know, and I hung around with Jeff for a while.
Who are some of the guys back then that you cruised with and built cars with that you remember?
That'd be Jeff Martinez. It'd be Jeff Martinez to help me. He helped me a lot with my 73 Impala. Richard Abeta too, though. Richard's the one who got me, really basically taught me the basics about hydraulics. I want to say the first person to put back hydraulics in my car, so I could quit going through gas tanks.
And and as far as cruising, I mean, where were the hot spots that you used to go roll?
We'd go down 9th West, hit the car wash on South Temple, hit the car wash on North Temple, cruise up to State Street, but back then State Street was all hot rods. You could cruise it, you could do 2 or 3 passes before the cops gave you a ticket and got you off of there. You know, they didn't want the lowriders there, which I never understood that, but all the lowriders could go down to 9th West and cruise it and they wouldn't bother you. But
yeah. How about on Sundays? Where was
on Sundays we would hit Liberty Park. We would hit Liberty Park a lot, because back then Liberty Park, you could just go in a circle. They didn't have no dividers.
Yeah,
you know what I mean?
That.
You could
That used to be the fun times over there at Liberty.
Yeah.
How about, like, as far as I think years ago, you know, it was limited people that painted, limited people that did any type of custom work, you know, other than for lowriding. Lowriding had just certain individuals that you'd work with. I mean, you getting started into your cars, I mean, I know you built a lot of cars. What got you into building cars for yourself and other people?
Well, I had my shop. I ended up opening up a paint, you know, a body shop. And it was fun for a while. I mean, I learned, there was a guy named Roach. I don't know if you ever remembered him.
I remember Roach.
That dude can get down on paint. He's the one who painted my Purple Riviera. It was gold. Henry Quintana painted it gold. It was a beautiful paint job. But I wanted to go something different that I've seen. And purple's always been my color, so I got Roach. I got him talked into painting and putting graphics all over it. And after he did that, I was just hooked on that type of custom paint. It's a miracle, these cars that I have right now.
I think I sold you some Supremes for that car.
You did.
that car to me, honestly, I mean, you got some beautiful rides, but I don't know, there was something about when you built that Riviera, man, that right there was my favorite car you ever had.
It stood out.
Mini truck, but not that I'm saying, but for back then, I can honestly tell you, man, that Riviera to me was one of the baddest cars out there.
Yeah, that car stood out.
Just the way they lay.
Yeah.
I mean, that was 73, right?
Yeah.
I mean, them type of cars, it doesn't matter. As soon as you lay them out,
Oh yeah.
it's just they have
It's
a
just
look,
that
and
big
then that
boat
color
tail.
you did with the ghost on there.
Yeah.
That was a beautiful car, man. I gotta give it to you for that. I also know that I know it's back in the day too. I remember you and Thomas Ramirez building a lot of trucks together.
Yeah, mini
building
trucks.
a truck. So
Yeah.
I know Thomas Ramirez also has had a big hand in a lot of
Yeah.
things that you've done growing up, right?
Yeah, he's a good custom painter. And like I said, he's always been there to where, like if we needed help or if he needed help on his truck or if I needed help, he was always there to help me. I went out to San Jose, when we jumped from the lowriders to the mini trucks, I went out to San Jose for a car show and came back and everybody goes, "What are you doing?" I took my bed off my truck. I started building a dancing bed.
Yeah.
I ended up putting it back on. It fell off a couple times.
Just like running out of the gas in a 55 Chevy.
Oh yeah, for real, man.
I'm like, what in the world would Reyes be on State Street in a badass 55 Chevy and running out of gas?
Well, that was a funny story, man, because Jeff goes, hey, let me take your Riviera. And I said, all right, let me take your 55. And he did. Well, you didn't tell me the gas gauge didn't work. Driving down the road and it ran out of gas. I was like, oh my God.
Sure, another funny story with Reyes is I'm cruising down the street on my Escort back in the day, all locked up, and it turns off automatically. He comes up behind me, and I tell him what happened, and he comes up and pushes his button, and I'm like, what did you do? And he goes, I turned on the emergency gas switch. And I said, really, I just paid $300 to have somebody do that.
I remember that. Like, I'm gonna have it towed again. I go, hold on, let me see.
I know you sharing the experience with your wife out cruising now and enjoying. Tell me what got you into being in car clubs. I know it started years ago for you.
Yeah, years ago.
What do you think of back then versus today? I mean, you're from a well-respected car club around the world, Good Times, 801 from Utah. How does it feel? And I'm asking this because I know in me, I mean, I got to meet all kinds of people that I never thought I'd meet ever. Just out of magazines. For you, I know that the same way you've joined a club that's all over around the world, well, highly respected. How does that feel to be with these people and meeting all these people through your lowrider vision?
I never thought I'd be there. I never thought it'd be like that big. You know, I knew lowrider. We weren't one of the best states or the biggest states to have a big lowrider following when I was growing up, but it's came a long way since then. And for me, like, to be in the clubs and stuff now, to be in a worldwide club, everybody welcomes you, and you go to these shows and you meet other members from other clubs and everything, and they just humble people that are in these things. I don't see it like back in the day. It wasn't like that. It was honestly more violence. You know what I mean? But it's not like that no more. It's all family oriented now, which is great. It's perfect. And then to go out of state, I mean, people just, you start talking to people and they're so cool about it and everything. I just, like I said, ever since I did start traveling to take the cars and stuff, I've met so many people. And it's actually fun, you know what I mean? Because then you get them people, you see them again, you see what they're doing, and it just makes you want to push more and more. And I need that push here and there.
And I think
I just don't want it.
I also think it's cool that you share a passion with your sons. Also with your son, Little Ray, president of Luxurious Car Club in Salt Lake.
Yes.
I mean, I'm sure that's a big part of your life, and it's pretty exciting, right?
Yeah, it is. I mean, both my boys have been into the car thing. My son, Josh, had a beautiful green Cadillac. There's a picture of it right there, but he went, bought a house and everything, got it, you know, he told me, he goes, Dad, I'm gonna get one again, but right now, I'm gonna focus on my house. And I was like, yeah, that's what you do. My son got beautiful cars right now. I mean, he's got a beautiful 66 he needs to finish. But yeah, it'll be out there, and when it does, it'll be presentable. I mean, he focuses on that too. And everybody asks, why is your son in a different club? My son actually went to that club before I started getting back into this again. I mean, it took you to come and get me one day and say, hey, come to the shows again. And I was like, nah, they were drama back in the day. And then I went that first time, and I was like, oh man, this has changed. And that was fun. You know what I mean? It was like, you didn't have to worry about anything. Everybody got along. I was like, oh, this is cool. You know
I think what happens these days too is people have hiccups, but now now we're more regulated, where we correct them issues, and we try to get back to low riding and enjoying what we do. So that's what makes it fun, is it's real family orientated. There again, I work with Little Ray a lot, and I got a lot of respect for him.
I'm proud of him.
He's done a lot, and he's always involved, and that's what I like about it is, you know, when you can share that type of passion with your own kids and
Yeah.
your own family, to me, that's life right there, you know. Another thing, Reyes, I know that, you know, you've been around for years now. You did things for me in the past. You got a lot of knowledge of a lot of things, and I give you that. I think Utah would want to hear what's to you. What's the meaning of putting a plaque in your back window? What qualifies a car club? What qualifies an individual to be from start to finish, starting to be interested in getting in a car club where you want a plaque, you want to roll, you want to represent? What does that mean to you, bro?
For me to have the good times, or a plaque, any plaque, I mean, if I was in a different club and I ran that plaque, it's pride. It's pride to be there with that club, that, you know, you have other people that do exactly what you want to do, you know what I mean, or have the same interest that you have, is what I'm trying to say. Every club's different. I mean, every club, like, have to have standards on our club. We have to have certain things before we can plaque a car. Not every club's like that, but the most thing about clubs that I found out is if you get in a club, they're like your brothers and sisters. I mean, you have them persons. I mean, your car don't have to be perfect. You know what I mean? It don't have to be to the highest level in the world. I mean, if you love it and you go cruising, that's all that counts. You pull hard on time and money and everything, your life, into your car. And if you did it like me, I had my family, I had my sons, I had my wife. I mean, they pushed me and made it fun again. I mean, I love it when me and Chris, when I see her cruising in front of me and we're going from here to Salt Lake, I mean, you know what, that puts a smile on my face, because we're just both cruising. She could cruise her, you know, she don't just, it's her car, but she wants me to drive. I was like, no, that's your car, you learn to drive it, you drive it, you know what I mean? It's just fun to be in a club and do certain things, man. It's fun. It's fun. I mean, like, we go to the parks, and we don't just stay with our club. You see me, I go around to everybody's club. I mean, every member, everything. It's just fun because you know so many friends. I mean, if I had, let's just put it this way, if I had all my friends in my club, that'd be one club.
Yeah. At one time, Utah could have done that too.
It could have, but
me myself, I agree. I mean, I think a lot of people feel like they need to be part of a car club, but really, bottom line is you don't.
You don't. You could just roll.
As far as I'm concerned, I feel like I accept anybody to come and hang out, cruise with us. It doesn't matter. I mean, I think a lot of people say, well, I can't go over there because that's a car club. It's not true.
Nah, that's not true.
I think we all share the same passion. I really think lowriding, when it comes down to car club plaques, I think the respect of it is loyalty. Does the club fit that person? Because sometimes the club generally doesn't fit everybody.
It don't.
And sometimes you may have to move to somewhere where you say, hey, I'm comfortable here.
Yeah.
And this is where I want to be. And I think it's friendship. I think it's just where you feel comfortable. A lot of times I think a lot of these guys feel like they have to put tons of money to have, and you know better than I do. Back in the day, we could only put so much money into our cars because we weren't rich.
No.
We didn't have the resources we did today.
No, we didn't.
And we'd have clean cars. I mean, I always say it in every one of these interviews that, I mean, back in the day, I feel like we've had like clean cars in Utah, and it shows still, because I mean, the quality of your cars, the quality of everything you do. I mean, the cars represent well. They go out of state representing well, and I think Utah is a very classy place to lowride at.
It is.
I feel like there's a lot of people that, you know, take a lot of pride into it. So with that said, you know, it falls back on you. You know, you have a big following. You have a lot of people that you're a role model here. A lot of people look up to you for the things that you've done. Reyes, I mean, you've helped out a lot of people, bro.
I have. I've helped out a lot of out people, and I'll continue to help out people. I mean, if I was stuck, I'd expect somebody to come and help me. You know what I mean? And which would be fun. I do have my club. They'll come anytime I need them. Same thing if anybody needs it, but friends too. There's friends, there's family, there's acquaintance, all that. You know, I own my own company too, and I try to help everybody out with the best prices I can. To a point, there's sometimes you can't. You know, there's just you have to go at a certain price, otherwise, you know, you don't make no money, you cut your throat. But if I can help people out, and I've always done it my whole life, I've helped people out. I mean, a lot of people say, oh, well, this is a prime example. I've seen people say, well, I'm not gonna help him with this car because then his car's gonna look better than mine. I don't care. If that car looks better than mine, hey, I had a hand in it, shit. That's all that counts, you know what I mean? And I don't mind, I don't mind. There's beautiful cars out there. These ain't top cars. They're top cars in my mind, but there's beautiful cars out there. There's beautiful cars here in Utah. Yours are beautiful cars. Richard Abetas, the Dukes, they got beautiful cars in their theme. You know, my sons, like all these car clubs out here, there's always beautiful cars. And like I said, some cars ain't all the way up there, some cars are all the way up there. But it's the time and money, it's not even the money, it's the time and passion that people put into their vehicles that you respect that. Like me as a car builder, that's what I respect. I see, whether it's a hot rod, a lowrider, I mean, I don't care what even them, what do they call, rat rods? Mm-hmm. I love them things, because they're just like, they're thrown together, but they're not. I mean, if you think about it, to do hand welding on them little things that they put in, you're looking at it like, okay, well, this don't go together, but it goes together because it look good. You know, I give them all the credit in the world.
So I think it's all creation, bro. It's your imagination. Like, I know me and your vision, we share the same, but if I was to do something different, I mean, we're going to do something different, obviously. I like different pinstripe. I like different artwork. You like different colors, so we're not the same. Yeah. We share the same vision, but everybody's creative, and I look at it like in the hot rods. I look at it in rockabilly style. Yeah. I look at it in four-wheel. I mean, I've been to shows that blew me away. I mean, honestly, like Guy's truck.
Oh, yeah.
I mean, that truck, when I first saw it, I looked at it, and then I had to go back and look at it, and then I looked at it again, and I was like, that truck is pretty badass.
Yeah, it is. A lot of work.
He's a different type of style. Yeah. But it's a truck that's got 100% quality in it. Yes. And it shows just if you look at it, it's just not that primer truck there. It's got a lot of modification in it.
It does.
So, and that's one thing good about Utah is that we share that with a lot of people. And I mean, we're not as big as a lot of other states in lowriding, but our lowriding here in Utah is, I feel like we share it with a lot more than just lowriding. So
yeah, it's growing.
That's one of the differences. But another thing is that how do you see the movement today in lowriding versus years ago? I mean, you see it's getting bigger.
It's a lot stronger. It's a lot stronger. It's bigger. More people are lowriding, which is good. But like, how do I say it? Like fads go. When I was growing up, it was lowriders. Then came the mini trucks, and then lowriders kind of faded away. Then the mini trucks faded away. Lowriders came back out strong, and then here comes the little mini cars, and then lowriders kicked back to that. A movie came out, everybody wanted that type of car, lowrider. But lowriders always seem to come back on top. Blam, blam, blam. Like, so a new fad comes out, that's cool. People are going to get into it. The true lowriders are always going to stay true lowriders. They're going to get into it, they're always going to come back to them again. They're always going to come back. Like when mini trucks came out, I was fascinated by dancing beds. I just had to have one. I mean, I still had my lowrider, but I had to have a dancing bed. And then I got hooked on trucks. I wanted mini trucks over and over and over. Then big dualies. I wanted dualies. You know what I mean? But I've always came back to Impalas, lowriders.
I think you're like anybody else. You got a lowrider in your blood. You test the waters. I've always seen you do that with a lot of stuff, you know. And I think that's just because of your skills, bro. It's like I could build that, or I could build that, and that's a unique thing about you. Is like you had a dually, you had a mini truck, you had a Volkswagen. Mm-hmm. You know what I mean? And I think you know, with those type of skills that, you know, you're fortunate to be able to have that, you know, and that's what's cool is like, you can build anything you want and do whatever you want. And lowriding is still in your blood.
Yeah, it always will be too. Like I said, we have these two, but we have so many other cars that need to get done. And there's no time.
You have the RV, car
Oh,
club.
And that's another thing too. You know, to me, I go side by side riding. We go camping. We go hunting, fishing. Well, not hunting much anymore because, I mean, I was taught if you don't eat it, don't kill it. So I don't. So leave it alone. But yeah, we like to go camping and stuff. Yeah.
So, you know, just to get back into the Utah history, before we end the interview, can you mention anybody back in the day that used to call up or they used to call you to go caravanning when you grew up and started lowriding? I mean,
Jeff Martinez would call me, hey, what are you doing? Let's go ride tonight. Dennis Mira, he's passed by now, but that was one of my best friends. One of my best friends.
yeah, Dennis was a great guy.
Yeah, and he would call me up, hey, what are you doing? Let's go somewhere.
He always had one of the cleanest G bodies.
He did. That Grand Prix was.
Yeah, I think every G body I seen Dennis in, it was always in tip top shape, and cruising around with his baseball hat. Man,
Yeah.
rest in peace. Dennis was a cool dude.
And he always had rockets.
Yeah.
Ran rockets on everything he owned. Loved them rims. But yeah, we'd always just, and then we'd go, like I said, we'd just go all meet at the car wash, and we'd run into everybody at the car wash. So it was cool.
I miss them days too. I miss back in the 80s. I remember Mickey Gutierrez had that beautiful 58.
Oh yeah.
And Martin Chacon, you know.
Yeah, they had their Malibus up there.
Martin Chacon had that 77 Monte Carlos. I always was a fan of that. I love them cars laid out, you know. And
Yeah.
there was a lot of guys back then that ain't around no more, but you know, it's always good to remember them guys. But you know, want to thank you for everything you've done in the lowrider community for Utah. I know you've helped us out
You
a lot.
too. You brought it a long ways from the drama stage to where everybody could get along. I mean, like you said, there's hiccups here and there, you know, but for the most part, I like it that, I mean, if somebody sees something, everybody puts a stop to it right away. You know what I mean? It don't get out of hand. Before there was nobody, I mean, they would just let them go. No, now we put a stop to it, take it down the road, take it somewhere else. You know, just don't mess up the event that's going on because that's not a place for it. There's too many kids out there nowadays that sit there. You know what I mean? And like I said, I really appreciate everything you've done. I still look up to you. I still look up to Jeff Martinez. I really look up to Richard Abeda because that guy has taught me a lot. I mean, he taught me to weld.
Did he teach you how to steal bumpers?
No, that was his. No, but he did.
I got the shit about that. I said, man, you steal all the old lady bumpers off the neighborhood. But Richard Abeda is, and he's been a legend.
And he was always there to help me. Like he would never be like, oh no, I can't help you right now. I mean, if I like that when I was in the mini trucks, I broke the bed at the fairgrounds car show. I broke the bed off, and Richard goes, hey, can we get it to my house? We'll weld it up real quick. You can come back and dance again. I said, let's go. We took 6 of us, we threw it back on the truck, ran it over to his house real quick, welded up the hinges again, came back to the show and started dancing that bed until it broke again.
That's probably one of the best stories that you could tell because I think that's what's so important about doing these interviews. We're going to go out to Ogden and start hunting down some of them guys that have been lowriding for years out there. Give exposure to people that need to hear this because honestly, like I tell everybody, why did we get this started? Somebody had to start it. I mean, somebody had to get the guts finally enough to say, I'm going to go talk to these people and we're going to find it because
so people know
I want
what
people
Utah's
to know
about.
you guys. I want people to know me. I want people to know Jeff. I want people to know Richard Abeda and all these guys that have just lowrided here for years. I want their kids, your grandkids, my grandkids. I want them to know what we did. And with the help of Chris,
I appreciate Chris.
Done the world for us out here for
Another
pictures and you know.
Another thing I was gonna say too, like you've got the history of lowriding here in Utah, but you also got like new up and comers that are gonna start, you know, that come out and lowride. They weren't here when we were growing up, but they're still a new part of it. Like Sione from Uso, he's a new part of it, and that guy is so humble. He'll help you do anything. He'll go out of his way to help you.